a new thing. God is doing a new thing. You know, God is never static. He is involved in his creation. He is actively healing, redeeming, and transforming the world and its people. In other words, he is always doing a new thing. Now, we have a new podcast series for January and February, and these daily devotional podcasts accompany the teaching and preaching series on the same title of A New Thing for the Thames Valley and Watford Churches of Christ in January and February. And the title of our series, A New Thing, comes from the scripture in Isaiah 43 in verses 18 and 19. Why don't we have a look at it right now to set our hearts in the right place for this whole series? It reads, "Do not remember the former things, or consider the things of old. I am about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." In his book of the same name, Isaiah reveals God's plan for his people. They will not remain in exile forever. A return to the promised land is prophesied. The people in exile no doubt felt a mixture of fear and excitement. For some, living in exile had become comfortable. To uproot and return would be difficult. For others, it was the fulfilment of decades of prayerful expectation. Now, this section of scripture in Isaiah 43 parallels the Exodus with the return from exile prophesied. In other words, leaving one land for another, going on a difficult and dangerous journey, leaving the familiar for the unknown, having to trust God for provision, with the threat of being pursued and surrounded by enemies. Perhaps you can relate to this challenge, because the Christian life is one where we are secure in God, but we still have our challenges, don't we? We're always learning, always growing, and journeying towards something better, and that is through the difficulties of life that refine us into greater Christ likeness. You see, we're moving forward, we're growing, and it is exciting, but it's also disturbing. There is a need to let go of old things, not to say they weren't useful. They taught us things. We should remember those lessons, but you and I, we don't live in the past. We're moving forward in time and forward in maturity towards being with God forever and growing more and more into the likeness of his Son, Jesus, whilst we are still here on this earth. So, as we enter a new year, God surely has plans to do new things in us and among us. What those are, we may not yet know, but we can be sure that they will be revealed as the year progresses. And in this series, we're seeking to learn from the great men and women of faith in Scripture who encountered something new, were called to something new, took on something new, and in doing so left lessons in faith for you and me who follow after them. So, before we go any further, why not take a moment to pray and reflect on what you hope to get from this series, this new series, A New Thing. What is it that you hope to gain? What is it that you hope to learn? What is it that you hope God will show you, reveal to you, or work his will in you? What is that for you? Take a moment to write something down, and you can look back on it in a few weeks' time and see the way that God has moved. Make it a regular prayer that you ask God to do something new and to give you the strength to cooperate with him. I hope that you find through this series that your heart, your life, your local group, your congregation, the world around you is inspired by God doing a new thing. So until tomorrow, as we dig further into Isaiah chapter 43, take care and God bless.